Hey everyone, Terrace here. Alright, so I want to talk about a very interesting topic based off of a conversation that I had with a client last week. And we really sat down and we went over the differences between owning a home and renting during a recession or in a recessionary market. So many of you may have or may have not heard, on July 13th, just a few days ago, we had new CPI numbers that came out, the Consumer Pricing Index numbers. And what they do is they go over the US economy and they tell us, hey, from an inflationary standpoint, how high is inflation in today's markets? And they came out with a 9.1 inflationary market, which is almost insane. I mean, numbers haven't been this high in the last 40 years when it comes to inflation. And that brought up the conversation of recession. Most of you may feel this, may know this. I personally believe this, that we are headed towards a recession in the US. And once that happens, a lot of families are saying, hey, how bad is it gonna get? Right, which is incredibly difficult to predict. But what we can talk about is, does it make sense to own a home or to rent during a recession? And the biggest question that came up is, hey, what if I miss my payment? What if I don't have the ability to make a payment? What if I get laid off? And that's what I want to talk about today. So the number one misconception I want to say that a lot of families may experience, or they may have heard somewhere or read online, that if you stop making your mortgage payment, you can potentially get kicked out. That's 100% false. When you buy a home, you sit down with a title and escrow company towards the end of the process of your transaction, and you sign a note and a deed and a lot of paperwork. When you sign that paperwork, what you're declaring with the state is that you're the owner of this home with the mortgage company that you are essentially getting your home loan through and your home loan with. So as a home owner, there are a substantial amount of more benefits being an owner during a recession. So let's say people can no longer make their payments, or you don't have the ability to make your mortgage payment. Well, look at what happened in 2020 with COVID. When people or families weren't able to make their payments, the government came out with a government assistance program to allow them to essentially skip 3 months or 6 months of mortgage payments and roll that in the back of their mortgage potentially in the future, or do a refinance. So there were many options for homeowners that were in tougher times during that kind of market or during a recessionary market, right? So if you're a renter, it really depends on your state. There are laws and regulations that protect you as a renter. There are also laws and regulations that protect a homeowner. Now, first off, make your payments on time, right? Definitely every time make your payment, regardless of whether you rent or whether you own. If you don't make a payment, that will impact your credit score. It will impact your credit score a lot worse as a homeowner, but at the same time, you have more leniency, you have more options as a homeowner. Washington State specifically loves homeowners, so they will do whatever they can to keep you in that home, whether it's creating a new payment plan for you, whether it's helping you with an extension for a couple of months. There are things, depending on your investor, there are things that you're able to do in order to protect yourself out of an eviction, right? As a renter, you're a lot more likely to get kicked out. A lot of these larger companies and corporations and LLCs that rent out a lot of homes have great attorneys on payroll. So you have to be very careful if you're not going to make your rent payment, or you really have to do whatever you can to connect with that company to say, hey, what can I do to stay here at this home without being penalized? Anyways, friends, I hope this helps maybe address that question. If you have questions, comments, concerns, reach out. You got my number. Take care.